Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's Major League Baseball games, look ahead to today's games. We will go over tonight's MLS slate. We'll talk about the Olympics, golf returns, PGA golf returns. I'll give out a pick for St. Jude, latest news and notes, and my best bet of the day. Okay, we'll start in Major League Baseball, as we normally have been doing all summer long, as we'll go over all the results from last night and look ahead to today. Yankees destroy the Orioles 13-1, a huge bounce-back win for the Yankees. 57-49, Baltimore 38-68. Luis Gil gets the win, his big league debut. Alexander Wells gets charged with the loss. Phillies over the Nationals 15-4. The Phillies are 54-53. The Nats are 49-58. Zach Wheeler the win. Patrick Corbin the loss, and Jose Alvarado the save. Blue Jays over the Indians 7-2. The Blue Jays are 55-49. Cleveland 52-52. Hyunjin Ryu the win. Zach Plesac the loss. Tigers over the Red Sox 4-2. The Tigers are 52-57. Boston is 63-45. So that's 5 straight losses for the Boston Red Sox. Kyle Funkhouser to win. Garrett Richards the loss, and Gregory Soto the save. Tigers over the Reds. Twins over the Reds 7-5. The Twins are 45-62. Cincinnati 56-51. Getting the win for Minnesota, Danny Colombe the loss. Heath Hembry the save. Alex Colomb. Marlins over the Mets 5-4. The Marlins are 46-61. The Mets are 55-51. Getting the win for Miami was Nick Neidert. The loss, Taijuan Walker. And getting the save was Dylan Floro. Mariners over the Rays 4-2. The Mariners 58-50. Tampa 64-44. Yasei Kikuchi to win. Luis Patino the loss, and Diego Castillo gets a save against his former team. Angels over the Rangers 11-3. The Angels are 53-54. Texas 39-68. Getting the win for the Angels was Jose Suarez, and the loss Jordan Lyles. White Sox over the Royals 7-1. The White Sox are 63-44. KC is 45-60. Dylan Cease the win, and Chris Bubick the loss. Pirates over the Brewers 8-5-10. Pittsburgh's 41-66. Milwaukee 64-44. Getting the win, David Bednar, and the loss, Blaine Hardy. Braves over the Cardinals 6-1. The Braves are 53-54. St. Louis 53-53. Max Fried the win, John Lester the loss. Rockies over the Cubs 13-6. The Rockies 47-60. Chicago 51-57. Cal Freeland the win. Zach Davies the loss. Padres over the A's 8-1. The Padres are 62-47. Oakland 60-48. Blake Snell the win. Sean Manaea the loss. Diamondbacks over the Giants 3-1. Arizona 34-74. San Francisco 67-40. Madison Bumgarner to win against his former team. Johnny Cueto the loss. Tyler Clippard the save. And the Astros over the Dodgers 3-0. Astros 65-42. The Dodgers 64-44. Lance McCullers Jr. the win. Walker Buehler the loss. And Ryan Stanek getting the save. All right. Today, 12:30, you have the Twins and the Reds. Charlie Barnes and Luis Castillo. I'm just pulling up the lines here as we speak. The Reds are minus 240. The Twins are plus 198, over under 9.5, minus 110 each way. Twins plus 1F is plus 104. Reds minus 1F is minus 125. I'm going to go with the over 9.5, minus 110. Don't feel good about it. 1 o'clock, the Mariners and the Rays. Logan Gilbert and Josh Fleming. Rays minus 162. Mariners plus 136. Over under 8. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Mariners plus 1/2 is minus 156. Rays minus 1/2 is plus 130. I am going to go... Ooh, this is a hard one, guys. Mariners plus 136. Do I feel good about it? No. But I just don't like the look of the Rays right now. So give me the Mariners plus 136. 2 o'clock, the Pirates and the Brewers. Steven Brault making his season debut against Freddie Peralta. Brewers minus 295. Pirates plus 240. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Pittsburgh plus 1/2 is plus 108. Brewers minus 1/2 is minus 130. I'm going with the juice under 8.5 minus 120. 3:30 Padres A's. Joe Musgrove and Frankie Montas. Oakland minus 130. Padres plus 110. Over under 8. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Padres plus 1/2 is minus 196. Oakland minus 1/2 is plus 162. I like San Diego plus 110. I just think it's a good spot for San Diego and Joe Musgrove here. 7 o'clock, the Phillies and the Nationals. Chase Anderson and Paolo Espino. Nats minus 118. Phillies even money over under 9. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Phillies plus 1/2 is minus 194. Nats minus 1/2 is plus 160. I'm going Phillies even money with this game. Orioles Yankees. Matt Harvey and Jameson Taillon. Yankees minus 275. Baltimore plus 225. Over under 9. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Baltimore plus 1/2 is plus 115. Yanks minus 1/2 is minus 138. Harvey pitched well against the Yankees earlier in the season. And Jameson Taillon's been pitching out of his mind lately. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month. He looks like a really good acquisition by Brian Cashman now than he did earlier in the year. I don't love it. But I'm going to go under 9 minus 102, although the Yankees went over by themselves yesterday. Indians Blue Jays from Toronto. J.C. Mejia and Steven Matz. Blue Jays minus 215. Indians plus 180. Over under 10. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Indians plus 1/2 is minus 102. Blue Jays minus 1/2 is minus 118. I'm going to go over 10 minus 104. I don't like going over double-digit numbers. I'm doing it so here. Red Sox Tigers. Eduardo Rodriguez and Casey Mize. Red Sox minus 152. Tigers plus 128. Over under 9. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Red Sox minus 1/2 plus 108. Tigers plus 1/2 minus 130. I'm going with the Tigers as the home dog here. I like Casey Mize. He's going to be a really good pitcher in the big league someday. Mets Marlins. Carlos Carrasco and Zach Thompson. Mets minus 156. Marlins plus 132. Over under 7.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Mets minus 1/2 plus 105. Mets plus 1/2 minus 126. Or Marlins plus 1/2 minus 126. I'm going the same route as I did yesterday with this game, and for best bet over 7.5 minus 105. I meant in best bet in terms of the same spot where I went with best bet yesterday. I'm going with the same pick for this game. 8 o'clock, ESPN, Braves Cardinals. Huge game in the National League. Drew Smyly and Jay Happ making his Cardinals debut. Braves minus 118. Cardinals even money over under 9. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Braves minus 1/2 plus 134. Cardinals plus 1/2 minus 162. And I'm going over 9 minus 112 for this game. Angels Rangers. Shohei Ohtani and Colby Allard. And I don't see lines up for this game. Oh, there it is. Angels minus 178. Texas plus 150. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Angels minus 1/2 is minus 104. Texas plus 1/2 is minus 115. I'm going over 8.5 minus 104. Royals White Sox. Carlos Hernandez and Lucas Giolito. White Sox minus 270. Royals plus 220. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 122. Unders even money. Royals plus 1.5 is plus 104. White Sox minus 1.5 is minus 125. Tough one, but I'm going to go over on the juice number, minus 122. 8:30, Cubs Rockies. Alec Mills and John Gray. Rockies minus 158. Cubs plus 134. Over under 10.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Cubs plus 1 up is minus 146. Rockies minus 1 up is plus 122. John Gray's been pretty good. The Cubs offense just isn't good anymore. So under 10.5 minus 106. 9:30, Astros Dodgers. Jake Odorizzi and Max Scherzer making his Dodgers debut against the Astros. I love this. Dodgers minus 235, Astros plus 194, over under 8.5, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Astros plus 1.5 is even money. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 120. I'm going with the juice over 8.5 minus 120. And last but not least, the Giants and the Diamondbacks, Kevin Gausman and Zach Gallen. Giants minus 184, D-backs plus 154, over under 9, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Giants minus 1.5 is minus 111, D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 108. I'm going to go, I want to go with the over here, but I'm going to go Giants run line instead. I think they bounce back. Giants minus 1.5 at minus 111. All right, Major League Soccer tonight. I'm going to go over the slate, which is a nice one. At 7 o'clock, you have New England and Nashville. Both these teams are two of the better teams in the East. Obviously, New England is by far and away the best. Nashville is in third with 27 points. New England's minus 145, Nashville's plus 350, draw plus 260. I'm going to go with New England at home against Nashville. 7:30, Club Football, Montreal and Atlanta. Montreal minus 105, Atlanta plus 240, draw plus 250. Montreal is just better than Atlanta all around. So I'm going to take the plus 105 or minus 105 of Montreal against Atlanta. Columbus and DC United. Columbus plus 105, DC plus 240, draw plus 210. These teams are pretty identical in the standings. DC, you could argue, is a little bit better. But I'm going to go with the draw here, plus 210. Philadelphia and Toronto. Philly minus 160, Toronto plus 370, draw plus 280. Philly, I just think, is a lot better than Toronto, so I'm going to lay to minus 160. 8 o'clock, Chicago and NYCFC. Chicago is plus 260. NYCFC is minus 125, and the draw is plus 290. I'm going to go NYCFC minus 125. They're just a better team, even though they're on the road. The New York Red Bulls host Cincinnati. Red Bulls minus 145. Cincinnati plus 350. Draw plus 270. Cincinnati isn't as good as they were last year in the MLS's back tournament, although they're close in the point standings, but the Red Bulls are just better. So I'm going to take the Red Bulls at home against Cincinnati. Orlando and Miami. Orlando minus 190, Miami plus 440, draw 3-1. Orlando is just way better than Miami, so I'm going with Orlando minus 190. Nine o'clock, Austin, Houston, so the in-state rival. Austin minus 190, Houston plus 280, draw plus 230. Houston is 3 points back of a playoff spot. And Austin is kind of just there. So I am going to go with Austin here, but I don't necessarily feel good about it. Because they're really not that as good as they're just not good. They're only 2 points into the cellar. So solely because they're home, I'm gonna go with Austin minus 110, but I do not like the pick whatsoever. And next up, you got at 10 o'clock, Seattle and Dallas. Seattle's minus 140, Dallas plus 330. The draw is plus 260. The Sounders are just so good. I'm laying the minus 140 with the Sounders. 10:30, LA Galaxy and Salt Lake. Galaxy minus 130, Salt Lake 3-1. Draw even money. This is literally Western Conference supremacy here. Both these teams are pretty solid. I'm going to actually go with Real Salt Lake at 3-1 as a dog in this spot. Just a gut feeling here. LAFC hosting Kansas City. LA minus 175. KC plus 380. Draw plus 310. KC's been very good this year, but they are a dog in this spot. So I'm going to go with the draw here, plus 310. I know, by the way, I screwed up with the Real Salt Lake. Actually, I'm going to go with Real Salt Lake. I thought I screwed up with that pick. I got them and the KC team mixed up. And at 10:30, last but not least, Portland hosting San Jose. Portland's minus 135. San Jose's 3-1. Draw is plus 290. I'm going to go with Portland. I just think they're a little bit better, so I'm going to lay the minus 135 with Portland. All right, now we'll do Olympics. We'll go over everything so far that's happened last night and this morning, and then we'll look ahead to the events for tonight. So we will start with swimming. Women's duo is completed. Getting the gold, the ROC. The second place silver, China. And the third place bronze, Ukraine. The women's 400-meter hurdles in athletics, which was amazing. Sydney McLaughlin was the story of last night, getting the gold medal, beating out Delilah Muhammad by a 12 hundredths. So 0.12 of a second. So that was just an incredible race. Sydney McLaughlin was just the story of last night, and she went viral, and for good reason. And getting the bronze was Femke Bol of the Netherlands. The women's 3,000-meter steeplechase. Getting the gold, Peruth Chamati by 3 seconds. And then getting the silver was Courtney Frechs of U.S. And by the way, Chamati's from Uganda. And getting the bronze was Hyven King of Kenya. The men's 800-meter, getting the gold, Emmanuel Korir of Kenya. The silver, Ferguson Rodic of Kenya. And getting the bronze, Patrick Dobik of Poland. Then they all finished less than a second within each other. The men's hammer throw, getting the gold, Wojciech Nowicki of Poland. Getting the silver, Evine Henriksen of Norway. And getting the bronze, Paweł Fajdik of Poland. The men's 200-meter, getting the gold, Andre DeGrasse of Canada. Getting the silver, Kenny Bednarek of the U.S. And getting the bronze, Noah Lyles of the U.S. Baseball. Rep change 2. U.S. over Dominican Republic 3-1. In the semifinal, Japan over Korea 3-2. So U.S. will take on it looks like they'll take on Dominican Republic. As they will take on Dominican Republic tomorrow in the semifinals. South Korea. DR will be in the bronze, and Japan will play the winner of South Korea in the States. I think the States move on. They're just the more talented team in South Korea. So I'm going to say States against Japan for the gold. So that would be fun to watch for sure. Basketball. Quarterfinals women. France over Spain, 67-64. Japan over Belgium, 86-85. U.S. over Australia, 79-55. And Serbia over China, 77-70. And then tonight we have the semifinal, United States and Australia. Australia has a good team. Aaron Baines, Patty Mills, Josh Green, Joe Ingles, Matt Dellavedova, Dante Exum, Matthias Steibel. Those are some name players on that team. But when it's all said and done, the more talented team is the United States, led by Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard. So I'm going to say United States moves on to the gold. And then in the morning tomorrow, you have France and Slovenia. The French team has some names. Timothée Leroux-Carabao, Nick Batum, Frank Ntilikina, Rudy Gobert, Evan Fournier. And Slovenia, obviously, is led by Luka Doncic. And the best player on the court in that game is Luka. And he'll single-handedly carry Slovenia to the finals against Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, and the United States. So I'm going to go with Slovenia over France in the semis tomorrow. And then the quarterfinal results we talked about on yesterday's show. Australia over Argentina, 97-59. France over Italy, 84-75. U.S. over Spain, 95-81. And Slovenia over Germany, 94-70. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the women's semifinals, we will pick on the podcast tomorrow. Boxing, women's flyweight. Semifinals are completed. Stoyaka Krevesteva of Bulgaria over Sakimi Naimki of Japan 5-0. And Busnaz Krikulu of Turkey over Huang Sa Win of Chinese Taipei 5-0. And the women's welterweight semifinal, Gu Hong of China over O'Shea Jones 4-1 of the U.S. and Busnaz Serminelli of Turkey over Livlina Borgohain of India 5-0. The equestrian finals. Getting the gold was Ben Meyer of Great Britain, the silver Peter Fredriksson of Sweden, and the bronze Mikkel van der Volten of the Netherlands. Marathon swimming, women's 10 kilometer, the gold, Ana Marcela Cunha of Brazil, the silver, Sharon van Rodenwall of the Netherlands, and the bronze, Karina Lee of Australia. Sailing, men's 470, the gold, Australia, the silver, Sweden, and the bronze, Spain. Women's 470, sailing, gold, Great Britain, silver, Poland, bronze, France. Women's skateboarding park final, getting the gold was Sakura Yazumui of Japan, the silver, Kokona Hiraki of Japan, and the bronze, Sky Brown of Great Britain. Men's track cycling team pursuit finals. The gold to Italy, the silver very close to Denmark, and then the bronze, Australia. Women's volleyball quarterfinals live going on right now between Brazil and ROC. Brazil has a 2-1 lead right now. Serbia over Italy 3-0. U.S. over Dominican Republic 3-0. And South Korea over Turkey 3-2. Weightlifting men's 109 kg. Getting the gold, Lasha Talagdasi of Georgia. Getting the silver, Ali Davaldi of Iran. And getting the bronze, Monosad of Syria. Wrestling, the men's Greco-Roman 67 kg. Getting the gold was Mohammad Reza Garay of Iran, and getting the silver was Pervez Nasabov. It was a 1-1 but 9-1 in SUP. And then the bronze was a tie between Mohammed Abrim El Sayed of Egypt and Frank Stabler of Germany. And the men's Greco-Roman 87 kg. Getting the gold was Zan Belenik over Victor Lorenz by a score of 5-1. Belenik of Ukraine and Lorenz of Hungary. And tying with the bronze, Zarabi Dachevili with a 6-1 score over Ivan Huklik of Croatia, and Dennis Kudlo of Germany with a score of 8-1 over Mohammed Metwali of Egypt. All right, now we're going to look ahead to day 13. So we only have 4 more days of this, which is crazy. So tonight we have the men's triple jump final. And we have the men's shot put final. And in baseball and basketball, we talked about beach volleyball semifinals tonight at 8 o'clock. We have the United States against Switzerland. I think U.S. will move on to the final. And then you got Australia and Latvia. I'm going to go with Australia there. And then the men's semifinals is tomorrow morning. You got Norway and Latvia. let's go with Latvia there. And then Qatar and ROC. I like ROC in that one. At 1 a.m. women's lightweight semifinals, you got Kelly Harrington and Sunaporn Sisandi of Ireland and Thailand, respectively. I think Harrington will advance to the final. And on the other semifinal, we have Patrice Soares of Brazil and Mira Pekkanen of Finland. I'm going to say that Soares moves on to the final. And then the men's flyweight semifinal, you got Rame Tanaka of Japan and Carlo Palam of the Philippines. I'm going to say that Palam moves on. And then you also got Galal Yafai of Great Britain and Saikin Babasanov of Kazakhstan. I'm going to say Yafai moves on in that one. The canoe sprint, K1 200 meter is tonight. And same with the women's C1 200 meter for the canoe sprint. The women's 10-meter platform diving is later tonight. And the semifinal for the 10-meter platform will precede it. Women's individual golf round 2 is tonight. The handball semifinals is tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. between France and Egypt, and 8 o'clock a.m. between Spain and Denmark. I'm going to say that France and Spain will meet up for the medals in the final. Field hockey men's tonight, the finals. 9:30 p.m. is the bronze medal match between Germany and India. I'm going to say that Germany will take home bronze. And then 6 a.m. is the gold medal match between Australia and Belgium. I'm going to say that Australia will take home the gold there. Karate final tomorrow, 6 a.m. And at 7 a.m. is the men's Kumite 67 kg. Marathon swimming men's 10 kilometer is tomorrow or tonight at 5:30. So we have pentathlon tonight at midnight and at 3:30 a.m. tomorrow for the men, and women's is midnight. Skateboarding men's park final tonight at 11:30, and the prelims is today at 8. Women's soccer final tomorrow, 4 o'clock a.m. The bronze medal match between Australia and the United States. I'm going to say the United States wins. They're the better team than Australia. So I'm going to say the U.S. will take home the bronze, and which is a disappointing Olympics for them. And then tomorrow night at 10 o'clock is the gold medal match between Sweden and Canada, and we'll pick that on the podcast tomorrow. Sport climbing men's combined final is tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Then 4:30 a.m. is the prelims, and the medals will be tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. Table tennis tonight at 10 o'clock for the women's. The bronze medal match tonight is between Germany and Hong Kong. We'll say Germany takes home the bronze, and then gold medal match between China and Japan. Let's go with China for the gold. Track cycling final tomorrow at 4:45 a.m. for the women's Kirian, and the men's Omnium points race tomorrow at 4:55 a.m. Volleyball semifinals at midnight. You got Brazil and ROC. I'm going to say that ROC will move on to the final, and then 8 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, France and Argentina. Let's go with Argentina over France, as France and Brazil will play for the bronze, and Argentina and ROC will play for the gold. Women's water polo, multiple rounds tomorrow, 1 o'clock a.m. For 5th and 8th place, 1 o'clock a.m., China and the Netherlands. Semi-final, 2:30 a.m., ROC in the U.S. 5:20 a.m., 5th, 8th place, Australia and Canada. And the semi-final, 6:50 a.m., Spain and Hungary. I'm going to say that you'll have ROC and Spain in the final, and U.S. and Hungary playing for bronze. I'm going to say that Netherlands and Canada play for 5th and 6th, and China and Australia play for 7th and 8th. And then wrestling, tomorrow 6:30 a.m., the freestyle 57 kg for the men's, and the 86 kg freestyle is tomorrow at 7 a.m. Wow, that's a lot of Olympics. So we'll move on to golf now. It's back after its Olympic hiatus. And the tournament that will be taking place this time is the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. FedEx. Oopsies. So I'm going to go to the odds. I'm going to make a pick. So PGA back after the Olympics. Xander Schauffele obviously taking home the gold. So the favorite at 11-1 is Brooks Koepka. 13-1 is Colin Morikawa. 14-1 you have Xander Schauffele and Jordan Spieth. 17-1 Justin Thomas. 18-1 Justin Johnson. At 20-1 we have Rory McIlroy. 22-1 Louis Oldson. 23-1 is Patrick Cantlay. 24-1 you have Daniel Berger and Victor Hovland. 28-1 is Hideki Matsuyama. Scotty Scheffler's 29-1. 31-1 Bryson DeChambeau and Paul Casey and Matt Fitzpatrick. 36-1 Cam Smith, Webb Simpson, Patrick Reed. 40-1 Harry English. 42-1 Tony Finau. 43-1 Joaquin Neiman and Abraham Answer. Tyrell Hatton. 44-1 Jason Kokrak. 45-1 Corey Connors and Shane Lowry. 47-1 Will Zalatoris. 49-1 Sergio Garcia. 55-1 Justin Rose. 60-1 Tommy Fleetwood. 65-1 Brian Harman, Sam Burns, Sanjay M, Cam Champ, Mark Leishman. 75-1 Cam Davis. 80-1 Adam Scott, Phil Mickelson. 85-1 Billy Horschel. 90-1 Kevin Kisner. 100-1 Ian Poulter, Max Homa, Matt Wolf, Ryan Palmer, Stuart Sink, and Lucas Hubert, and Mamu Lee, Carlos Ortiz, Lucas Glover, all 120-1. Notables, Kevin Nas, 150. Saiwoo Kim's 130. Matt Jones, 150. Jim Herman, 320. Victor Perez, 210. But my winner, I'm going to keep it simple. 18-1 Dustin Johnson. I think he's due to come through. I like DJ with good odds, and I like DJ in the spot. So give me DJ at 18-1 to win the WJC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. And obviously, on tomorrow's show, we will go over the tee times. All right, news and notes time. A lot of stuff to get into. Just off the press, Kemba Walker bought out by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he will be signing with the New York Knicks after he clears waivers. I think it's a good signing by the Knicks, depending on the contract. It all comes down to the contract, and if he's healthy, amazing signing by the Knicks. Amazing. And yet again, Boston would have to be licking themselves. I know Kemba is somebody that the Knicks had interested in the past, but he chose to go to Boston over New York. Only because Boston was better suited at the time, and now New York's well suited after having a great year last year, and they had a hole at point guard. Healthy Kemba Walker is an upgrade over Alfred Payton as their starter, and Derrick Rose can continue to be the sixth man. The Knicks are a better team now than they were a year ago with Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, and their upgrades in their backcourt over Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton. Those upgrades alone make them a better team, but the problem is that the East is better. So the Knicks, to me, aren't guaranteed top 6 in the East. They might be settling for the play-in game because Indiana's going to be better with Rick Carlisle. Miami signed Kyle Lowry. Atlanta made the conference finals. And then the big three in the East, obviously, is Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Philly. And then, so those are 6 teams I just listed off. The Knicks, to me, are number 7 in the East. depending on how you feel about Indiana. I'm very high on Indiana. Maybe because they hired Rick Carlisle. Maybe because they have a lot of talent. But if Indiana does end up trading away Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner, maybe I'll leapfrog New York over them. But for the time being, New York is still the 7th best team in the East, even though they got better in the offseason. But their issue is that there's bounce-back candidates in the East. In Miami, Indiana, and then Atlanta just made the conference finals. And they just re-signed John Collins to a 5-year contract. Whereas I think $125 million. Here we go. 5 years, $125 million. So, Atlanta to me is still top 6 in the East. I don't think New York is a top 6. I think they're 7 if you asked me, even with these signings. But to me, it's because I'm basing it on the fact that Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon are still on the Indiana Pacers roster. And maybe I'm drinking a little too much Pacers Kool-Aid. And also returning to the Knicks is Taj Gibson on a 1-year, $2.7 million contract. That's just a veteran type of deal. They didn't overpay. Taj Gibson played some good minutes for them last year as a third-string center. The Dodgers are closing in on Cole Hamels. So it's just yet another depth piece for the Dodgers in their rotation. And I think they feel that Trevor Bauer isn't coming back. It's going to be very fascinating to see. It's going to be fascinating to see what the Dodgers do with Trevor Bauer. Hassan Whiteside got signed by the Utah Jazz. I think that is a good backup center pickup for them. The Lakers signing Kendrick Nunn on a 2-year deal worth $10 million. That's a good player for the Lakers, good bench guy. And also signing with the Lakers is Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk, and re-signing with the Lakers, Talen Horton-Tucker on a 3-year, $32 million deal. I like what the Lakers have done this offseason. I know some people are going to question the age of their roster, but they have a lot of good, savvy veterans, a new mix after a disappointing year last year, losing to the Suns in the first round, granted injuries. But even when those guys were healthy, that team just wasn't that good. Like, some of their role guys really just didn't fit in. Kyle Kuzma just wasn't a fit, for example. So, I like what the Lakers have done. To me, I think they are the team to beat in the Western Conference with LeBron back, AD back, and the trade for Russell Westbrook, more importantly, because he's an upgrade over Dennis Schroeder all around. So, you have those three. You have Melo off the bench. You have Talen Horton-Tucker off the bench, Dwight Howard off the bench, Wayne Ellington off the bench. Maybe Melo might start on the Lakers. Who knows? But I won't be shocked if he's a bench guy for them either. So I really like what the Lakers have done. They can mix and match in their starting lineup. They could potentially start the White. But I like the idea of AD starting at center, LeBron at power forward, and then Russ, and you just have to fill in the wing spots. Maybe it is Melo and Wayne Ellington, or something like that. Talen Horton-Tucker, Wayne Ellington, some sort of match there. The Bulls landed DeMar DeRozan in a sign-and trade. 3-year, $85+ million. Going back to the Spurs, Alfred Camino, Thaddeus Young, a first rounder in 2 seconds. I think that's a lot to give up for DeMar DeRozan. I like what San Antonio did here. They did well in this deal for DeRozan. Because I don't think DeRozan is the same player as he was with the Spurs. I think he got badly overpaid here. Almost $30 million a year. I don't like that contract at all. DeMar DeRozan is still a fine player, but this scratches my head with the contract. So you have him and Lonzo now in the backcourt. And Satoransky's on the Pelicans down the sign and trade. And you have Vucevic and Zach LaVine. And then I guess starting at power forward would be Lauri Markkanen. Or Patrick Williams. So they're an interesting team in the East. That's a play-in tournament team in the Eastern Conference right there. And I think they're on that same tier as the Knicks, if you ask me. Like, if you ask me to predict the top 8 in the East or the playoff teams in the East right now, it's the big three of Brooklyn, Toronto, my bad, Milwaukee, and Philly. And then next tier down is Atlanta, Miami. And then the next tier, I'd say, is because of the unknown. But if Indiana keeps its roster as quo, I would put them in Miami and Atlanta and take a step back. They're in the lottery. But I would put them in the wild card tier by themselves, and then it's Knicks and Bulls. And then play-in tournament teams are probably like Charlotte. And I forgot about the Celtics, too. Like, that's another good team in the East. So I would put the Celtics in that Miami tier. You think they're going to be better? Or would you put them in that tier with Indiana? So I would say it's Indiana, Knicks, and Celtics in the same tier. And then the Bulls and the Charlotte are right there for the play-in tournament, too. But yeah, I completely forgot about the Celtics. They're going to be a factor as long as Tatum and Brown are there. But to me, they've taken a step back as a team. So it's going to be interesting. And Stephen Curry lands a 4-year, $215 million extension. First player in NBA history to sign 2 career $200+ million deals. And he deserves it. 2-time MVP, 3-time NBA champion, the biggest star in San Francisco. So, great extension for Steph. Patty Mills signs with the Nets, 2 years, $12 million. I love that signing for Brooklyn. He's like their classic backup point guard off the bench. Heat check guy, can start when Kyrie misses games. That's just the perfect signing for the Brooklyn Nets. The Utah Jazz signed Rudy Gay, 2 years, $12.1 million. Like that signing for Utah. He could be like a forward version of what Patty Mills could be for Brooklyn. Could either start or come off the bench, but more likely off the bench and everybody's healthy. Andre Drummond signing with the 76ers on a 1-year deal, so he'll be backing up Joel Embiid. So that is a nice signing for the Sixers. The New York Giants had a brawl at practice. There wasn't a video, but there was a fight. Apparently, Evan Ingram got into it with Corey Clemens, and somehow Daniel Jones ended up on the bottom of the pile, and Joe Judge was not happy. Yikes. And Joe Judge, as we know, is a big-time disciplinarian, and that guy would just literally punish that team for whatever wrongdoings they do. So he's literally the perfect coach for that team. And now you know not to have brawls in Giants practice because that's what happens. Kenny Galladay diagnosed with a slight hamstring pull after exiting practice on Tuesday. At least Galladay avoids major injury. He was their big free agent get from the offseason, so he better be healthy for him. The Dodgers fans were tossing a trash can last night, and predictably so. And I told you guys, that Dodger crowd was going to be rowdy. It was going to be reminiscent of the Yankee crowd. You're going to be hearing FL Tuve chants. You'll be seeing trash cans. And the Dodgers public address announcer came out on the screen and says, please stop throwing trash cans onto the field. But yeah, I don't blame the Dodgers fans for their bitterness because the World Series probably would have been theirs if the Astros didn't cheat. So, them and the Yankees, I think the fans have every right to be upset about the Astros cheating. But throwing cans onto the field and chanting FL Tuve, to me, is over the top. Bryce Harper blows kits to Nationals fans after he cranks a solo homer to left center and enjoys the Blues from his former team. Quentin Nelson wants a Week 1 return As he says, there's no time for pity after foot surgeries. He says, F that. After the report came out that he'll have the 5 to 12 week recovery time similar to Carson Wentz. The Cowboys to be cautious with Dak Prescott, as the Cowboys will take a step back with Prescott's shoulder injury to rehab ahead of the preseason. Simone Biles says she did this for herself and why her bronze medal on the beam was a triumph. So, it's good to see Simone Biles back in the Olympics competing after her hiatus. Phillip Rivers could return to the NFL, although he says he's focused on coaching but isn't closing the door on coming back. Maybe this is after the Carson Wentz injury. Maybe the Colts reach out to him about coming back, so keep an eye on that one. Big Ben's future unknown, as the Steelers owner is leaving the door open for Roethlisberger's future. It's not written in stone that this is his last year. So, Steelers ownership is telling you that he might be playing beyond this year, so keep an eye on that. The 49ers decide B.W. Webb for cornerback depth. The Saints re-signed Kawhi Alexander 1 year, $3 million. Jordan Montgomery has COVID-19, as Brian Cashman announces that he, as in Montgomery, also tested positive for COVID. So this is the third Yankee COVID outbreak of the season. One earlier in the year, one with Judge and Urshela and Loizaga, and now here with Cole and Montgomery. So this is literally the third COVID outbreak of the season. Let's just hope that Cole and Montgomery are asymptomatic and are back with the Yankees sooner rather than later. But Judge and Urshela were not out that long. You could argue if Judge wasn't out with COVID, then the Yankees would have won that Red Sox series a couple weeks ago. So the Judge absence was huge. The Cole absence did not hurt him yesterday, as they won 14-1 or whatever that score was. So, and I was the one on the podcast saying that they need Garrett Cole against the Orioles. So my statement backed up true. And that's because the Orioles are not good. That's really why. Let's hope Montgomery is asymptomatic and he'll be fine. The Panthers waived JT Ibe after he hit wide receiver Keith Kirkwood in the head during yesterday's practice. So, Matt Rule also being a little disciplinary here. The NCAA is reviewing gender equity as they are talking about holding both Final Fours at the same site for future basketball tournaments. So that is something to keep an eye on. The Big 12 and the Pac-12 are discussing a merger as Bob Bowlesby and George Killakoff will meet to discuss the possibility of a merger or scheduling alliance. And that's also obviously in response to Oklahoma and Texas making their moves to the SEC in a couple years from now. San Jose Sharks players do not want Evander Kane back due to strained relationship. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Evander Kane, whether the league suspends him or the Sharks cut him. So keep an eye on that story. Alrighty, last but not least, my best bet of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. There's some interesting stuff on the board. But I am going to plan on doing something different. I'm going to go with MLS for my best bet of the night. And the team that I like tonight as a slight favorite at home the Montreal Impact. So that's going to be my best bet tonight. Montreal Impact minus 105 at home against Atlanta. I just think that Montreal is a lot better than Atlanta. And 105 is, to me, a nice number. So I'm going to lay a half unit on the Montreal Impact against Atlanta United. So there you have it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping baseball, soccer. We'll look at the tee times for the golf tournament, news and notes, maybe one more activity, Olympics obviously, and my best bet. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.